Hello YouTube, this is Scott with Inside the Curve. Today I'm going to give you little tips on how to read one of these. You would not believe how many people that I know in my day job that cannot read a tape measure proficiently or just don't know their way around. I might be able to read a half, a quarter, but anything beyond that, you just forget it. And that slows down the process quite a bit. So I'm going to help give the world, I guess, hopefully, some tips to better read the tape measure. Let's get started. So what we got here is a Stanley 25-foot tape measure. Okay. Most of the time for my furniture projects inside the shop, I just like to carry around a 12-foot Stanley tape measure because everything I build in here is under 12 foot most of the time, so I don't like to carry around this big bulky thing. But for this demonstration, we're just going to use the 25-foot tape measure because I'm sure that's what most of you guys are going to be using anyways. So enough of that rant. What we got here is, hopefully we know, if not, you're going to learn that there's 12 inches in a foot indicated here. 12 inches, 1 foot. We've got 24 inches, 2 feet. 36 inches, 3 feet, and so on. Okay, so let's break that down. First, let me explain this. We've got this little red mark. So what's that little red mark mean? Well, that means we've got 1 foot 1 inch, 1 foot 2 inch, and so on. Same thing on the 24 inch side. 2 foot 1 inch, 2 foot 2 inch. Well, let's get inside of our foot and break that down. We've got inches. We've got 1 inch indicated between the hook and here. Got 1 inch from here to here. 1 inch inside of here and here. So now, let's get inside the inch. The big scary part, I should say. So, we're going to stay in between, work between the 6 and 7 so we don't have to mess with the hook here. I'm using my knife as a pointer. So, from here to here is an inch, as I said. Now, we think of that as a big hole. Let's break that down. So, we can see they got this longer mark. What's this longer mean? Well, that means we've got a half. So inside this inch, there's a half. So that's half an inch. Now let's break that down. We'll go this way first. So we can see between here and here, we've got a longer hash. Well, that longer hash is a quarter. So half is a quarter. Now we'll break that down even further. So in between that little mark, we can see we got a longer hash. And that longer hash in there is an eighth. So half of a quarter is an eighth. Now inside there we have a 16th, which is a 1/16. Okay. So we have our quarters. We've got 1 quarter and 3 quarter. So 1 quarter, 3 quarter. And then, like I said, we have our eighths. We got 1/8, 3/8, 5/8, and 7/8. And then the next, break that down, we have our 16ths. So we've got 1/16, 3/16, 5/16, 7/16, 9/16, 11/16, 13/16, and 15/16. Okay? Now each one of these hashes is a 16th. So 1/16, 2/16, 3/16, 4/16. Okay, but we know that 2/16 can be reduced if we remember our fractions from math class, which sometimes I kind of don't remember much from math class either. But anyways, we need to know that 2/16 breaks down to a eighth, so 1/8, and then 4/16 will also break down to what we can reduce down to 1/4, which is a quarter. So you just got to remember that all these hashes are 16ths, and then reduce it down to its lowest denominator. Okay, so on my website, on Inside the Curve, I created what they call the big inch. I'm sure you probably see diagrams. I created an infographic to help just break. You just got to break everything down in sections, and I laid that out on the little infographic I made. And I'm sure you can, right-click and save as, and print it out and put it in your shop or whenever you're working, and it'll help you along. But and also I put a link on there to like a little game that helps you it's like learn the tape measure a little more easier. It'll lay out different measurements and you got to guess what they are. Well, not guess, but figure out what they are. So one thing I did when I was learning tape measure back in middle school is just measure different things around the house. You know, we got this piece of scrap wood here. We can measure that out, and it's just a proficient way. I used to always measure the counter thickness, measure the counter height. You know, measure the cabinet door. It's just a great way to go ahead and learn the tape measure. You just measure different things around your house and get real proficient with it, because it's a skill that I feel, my opinion is I feel like it's dying, because a lot of the woodworking in schools nowadays are going away. I mean, I was lucky enough to have shop class for a few years before it was, taken away. Lack of funding, like we always hear on the news, and not to get political, but just, that's the first thing to go is the shop classes, and it's sad because a lot of kids, they just ain't learning the tape measure these days, and it's just a basic skill that I feel like everybody can use, from hanging hanging pictures in your home, to know that your studs are 16-inch center, and how to do that. So I hope this guide helped, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Thank you.